Hi everyone, welcome back to another Brick Veteran kit overview. Today I'm talking about the A1H Skyraider, which this is the Vietnam version of an airplane that came out, I think maybe in the Korean War, maybe just before the Korean War, but this spilled over into the Vietnam War, so this is what we're going to be looking at here. And this is the Air Force version, so it's not the Navy version, meaning that this is painted in camouflage colors and not just an all light gray version. And I'm just going to get right into all the details of the model. So this is very much, again, you're looking at the prototype. There's no printed parts on this kit yet. There will be a lot. I think it's over like 50 plus printed parts. Maybe. We'll see. So some things that I've done differently, some things I've reprised in other models. One thing is the engine cowling that I used on the Corsair before. I was able to bring it down to a 5 stud wide opening for the engine shroud. I did up the ante a little bit on this model, and I did put pistons represented on the inside, just right at the front of the opening of the cowling, which was a nice little added detail that I wasn't able to incorporate in the Corsair. So that's a new technique that I've been able to insert into this model. And certain other things just going right back off, starting with the nose. One sticking point I had mostly was where the transition is made from the nice perfect circle of the engine to the really doofy looking rest of the fuselage. It's just very simple, big tube of a fuselage, and it was hard to make that awkward shape look good, meaning making it look awkward and not making it look like as cleaner than what the real one is supposed to be. So I was able to get a curved slope tapering right behind the cowl flaps on the top, as well as having it angled, and then going right underneath that as well, where the exhaust comes out. And there's really cool photos of that. After they've seen combat for a while, they get exhaust streaks running down the side of the plane. So I really wanted to nail that look and get a nice transition into the rest of the plane. And then having also a little intake on the top, and then an intake on the bottom of the aircraft. So that actually proved really difficult, and I couldn't be more pleased with how it turned out and transitioned back into the rest of the model. Going right back from there, the windscreen on the canopy. This is a brand new technique. I've done something similar in the past, but I was able to create some cheese slopes on the sides, tapering down, and then a nice cheese slope tapering up. So it's a seamless transition, or as close as I could ever have gotten a seamless transition to this 4 wide canopy piece. And that just opens up, and there's actually a really nice cockpit with a nice headrest. I've never been able to incorporate nice big headrests, but this just is a very forgiving fuselage because it's so wide. It's just over 5 studs wide. So it gives me a lot of room for a nice detailed cockpit with some cool prints on the inside. Very spacious for the figure too. Right under that, I have a very sturdy dihedral on the wing. So it's canting upwards. It's rock solid. The whole aircraft is probably the strongest model I've ever built for Brick Veteran, or maybe just in my career in terms of aircraft anyways. But it's solid through and through, and it's very swooshable, and that dihedral is really strong too. Also on top of that, I've got wings that fold. It's a 1 stud connection. You just click that up, folds down without knocking the bombs off. It's packed to the gills with ordnance, as you can see, and they had a variety of bombs and missiles and rockets on these things, and one was the iconic toilet bomb, which won't be on this one because this is the Air Force version. The toilet bomb was on the Navy version. So we'll see if maybe we do that in the future, but for now, this is where we're at. I got a stand included in the kit, and again, as true to form with other Brick Veteran models, the stand is adjustable, so you can make it diving, which is what I would recommend because this is what it was built for, dive bombing, strafing. Going back even further was a nice little detail that I had no idea existed until I got into the build, was the dive brakes. And there's 3 dive brakes and they're huge. One thing I really wanted was a really nice taper going back just from the chunky fuselage tapering back into the thin point, and also incorporating the dive brakes into that and trying to keep the color change of the red on the inside. So there are 3. There's one on the bottom as well, and I was really happy with how that turned out. It's very strong too. You can push it up and it's not going to break. Same with the sides of the fuselage. You can pick it up from pretty much anywhere on the airplane and fly it around and it's not going to have an issue. On the very back of the plane, we have a movable rudder, and some cool prints will be on that portion of the aircraft as well. Of course, we have the arresting hook, which is what would be mostly used on the Navy version, but this is the Air Force version. I'm not sure they ever used it, but it's there because it always was. Versus Air Force or Navy, they both had retained the arresting hook. A fun feature is the landing gear and how it retracts. So I'll just go right into that, of how, just to show it off a little bit easier, I'll take these two bombs off. It does have landing gear doors, but they both spin together and collapse together. Doors close around, and then the bombs can go back on. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the A1H Skyraider from Brick Veteran. Maybe we'll show it off again with some printed parts, but for now, this is Cody Osell signing off. Be sure to check out brickveteran.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram. See ya.